go.
This works. Why are you like this? There we go. Okay, I don't know why it suddenly broke in between now and yesterday, because yesterday was perfectly fine. Today was not. But we have fixed everything. As I was saying, I don't know how long, I don't know if everything wasn't working, but I was having a lot of fun going cross-eyed with everyone last time, so hopefully you had some fun with that too. And we can pick up with the second part of the trial.
Part 2.
Part 2. Tatsu, do you want to do any of the voices for any of the characters?
Sure.
Which
Just
one?
let me know which ones.
While you're thinking about that, I can keep going.
Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand.
Okie dokie.
I presume you heard the defense's counsel summation examination.
Oh, yeah, Governor.
I did, Gov. I did.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin?
Oh, blimey!
This is gonna be hard work.
Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you injured Windybanks.
Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it?
It was, Nash, it was. Didn't have to pull me dukes out me Lucy lockets.
That still cracks me up. I love that. However, that was a lie. それは違うよ. I don't know if anyone got the reference. You brothers.
Oh, blimey.
On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. We never done nothing of the sort.
How'd you figure that out?
Oh. Ah.
You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gov. Where are you? We'll blub, we'll squeak, we'll peach.
Witness testimony. Legal entry, the whole truth. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing.
It was when we heard the gunshots, eh? Made us both jump and all that stuff went flying.
Lummy, it didn't have to give me a fright. I was thinking the shooters come out the door and get us next.
We stuck everything back where we found it in Scott, but straightened him in the black. We got enough shot of pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? So you admit to the defense's accusation? You did indeed ransack Mr. Windybank's countertop on the night in question.
Hello, Tira. How are you? Good to see you. What's up?
Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tied it up, yeah. You fools. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't make us sound a bit more cutthroat.
Can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Windybank's that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it. It's super dead at work. I kind of like it when it's like that. It's both easy to focus, but it's both good and bad. It's easy to focus, but it's bad if I need to get something done and there's like no one's here. Good work getting everything done yourself when you don't have what you need.
We weren't rifling for nothing.
Hold it. If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place?
Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted something like that, people would think we was up to no good. Well said, Ringo Real China. We only land ourselves in even more trouble.
And in fact, now, as a result of lying in previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourselves in even more trouble.
Oh, well, that's rotten luck.
Says the rotten apple eater.
Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. What, that's right, more like we tied the place up. Do not lie to me, you insignificant buffoons. I will ensure you never see the light of day again if you waste my time further. Ugh. Sorry. It's when we heard the gunshots, eh? Made us both jump and all that stuff went flying.
Hold it. Do you want to do Ryunosuke Tatsu or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much, you knocked all of those things off the counter.
Well, it shot one of us that much there. His bag of nerves need to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, alright? Blimey, we dead granny would have woken up with that bang.
Big Brovy schemed like a bloomin' baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a counting stick and some score whatnot.
I got tangled in some marionette what knocked over a picture frame what knocked them scales on the floor.
You've really mastered working quietly then.
Oh, racket, me granny would have been scared back into her grave at a clatter like that.
So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise.
And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse and then all of a sudden bang! Oh, we have a pursuit.
Excuse me. Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add?
Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels.
No. Something to add about their testimony? You seem to react just as what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something?
It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it only. Well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details.
How about you just tell us what's on your mind?
As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for questioning last night, and the statement they gave them told a slightly different story to what they're saying now.
Did it?
You claim you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have, Gov, might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it. Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them.
Easy, easy. We'll get right this time. That's it, yep. It's all coming back to me now.
Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right, you all, Gov.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's before the gunshot we heard your voice yell now. Give me that gun!
Terry Worry. Press.
Hold it!
Hold it.
No, in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously.
We did, Gov, we did.
Oh no, I suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yelling all.
If you don't want to get shot,
Give me that gun. Bam!
kind of thing.
Career in acting tragically missed. And where were these voices coming from? Could you tell?
Awfully good. From the other side of that door behind the counter it was.
From the storeroom, where the victim was found dead.
And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windybank. On my granny's life, of course it was.
But she's dead.
On his granny's life, of course it was.
But she's dead.
If you're brothers, isn't that the same thing? Also, if she's dead, I don't think this oath necessarily means anything.
No, that's exactly the point. So, that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windybank and the sound of his voice.
Emphasis on new there, just so you know for next time.
Knew.
Yeah? So that would mean,
What? What, Nash, what? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel, indeed it would. No, we didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to know it when that bloke in all the fancy clubbers giving us the evil eye? Your souls are mine. If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true. On my granny's life it is.
on his granny's life it must be.
It's a good job his granny's dead.
To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. You make it sound like we're clumsy.
Don't forget we tied it up after like good little boys. Anyway, where I see it. A bloke who owned the place was only gone, so it should just fought instead of yelling at a girl. That must be the contradiction here. Because, we have photo evidence that actually Gina was the one with the gun. I'll just press this and I'll see if I'm right.
Hold it!
You're saying that Mr. Windybank had a gun in his hand?
Oh yeah, that was a sort, eh? Them two waving them guns at each other must have got pretty heated. I mean, just before we shouted out, we heard the geezer say, "If you don't want to get shot."
Didn't really sound like he meant it, mind. More of an empty threat, you could say. Mr. Windybank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in someone's head, if required. That someone being himself, of course. Good grief! Extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided.
Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only that person he was going to shot beat him to it. Got his goose right and proper.
Bet he wish he'd squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me the gun."
And it was directly after those words that you heard the gunshot?
It was more or less at the same time, Gov. Give me that gun. Bah. Bah.
Kind of thing.
Yes. A career in acting, very tragically missed.
And we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck. Before everything was dead quiet.
After that, we done slap a dash stop trying and place up.
Okay, let's see. Because we also know here that, he didn't have a gun. She had the gun that he had on the counter. Okay. And the gun is no longer on the counter here, so it's not like it's a different gun. And... Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, ba, ba, bum. Okay. Objection!
You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windybank, was wielding a gun. Is this correct?
That's it, Gov. You've got a picture.
Yes, no, she has, no question.
And yet, the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windybank was not in the possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection! You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel.
Yeah, that's right.
Too right, Nash, too right. Old Gazy could have been about to table the tables on the girl, yeah?
Hardly likely.
Also, regardless of that, you would be guilty of perjury. Because you said they both had a gun and were pointing it at each other. And it was the old guy who had a gun. So,
I wish Ringo would lean forward more in that smug face of his and hit his chin on the counter.
that would be great. Just be like, you get what you deserve for trying to be smug when you're bad.
Wait.
No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my earlier warning, witnesses.
Dab. A skulking's never skulking. Bloke that owned the place was only gone, so she was just fire instead of yelling at the girl.
I mean, we also just, like, presented I guess they're saying that, like, yes, this picture was taken when she had the gun, but, like, he somehow snatched it out of her hands and was like, actually, no, you. Uno reverse, no, you. I guess I'll press this and just keep going. Hold it!
You're saying that Mr. Windybank had a gun in his hands?
Oh yeah, I was a sort of him too waving his gun.
Oh wait, I just pressed this.
Yep.
I'm dumb, sorry. I just want to pursue and just see what happens.
Excuse me.
Mr. Nash Skulkin, do you have something to add?
Eh? Oh,
Something that was said just now appeared to have gotten you thinking.
oh, well, yeah. I was just thinking about me brother, Soki.
Oh, the one you've lost touch with?
Yeah, oh, he could be a right nasty piece of work sometimes, that one. Always used to nab me share of the grub when we had anything to eat.
He does sound like a very mean man.
Oi, what are you looking at me for, Sunshine? Lummy, you ain't going out for fry. We was thinking that she would come out the door and get us next.
You should say hold it this time.
Hold it! So, you didn't try to open the storeroom door next, then.
Sorry, you can say your line again.
So, you didn't try to open the storeroom door then.
Awawa? Hold on. I'm having issues. Eh? Awawa? No, headpad broke. Give me a sec, I need to fix it.
That most important.
There we go. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the head pat. We're still using the prototype, but soon it will be even better. Eventually.
Not on your life.
It went definitely quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up me. Well, anyway, the door was locked, wasn't it? No way that was opening.
Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside. Or so we've been led to believe.
It was, Gov, it was. From the inside.
Right, so we had no way to know what was going on in there, did we?
Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like, through the keyhole, or spy hole perhaps.
Don't ring no bells.
Don't like no lights.
We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth in this game, see? But one day... Dab! We'll really cut the mustard!
Expression for something else.
Is it really?
Uh-huh.
What's the something else?
Cutting the mustard just means to let out a fart.
Wow. I guess the scene, they're really gonna stink up the scene?
Exactly.
Bruh. Bruv, why are you like this? Who made you this way? Who deprived you of love? Who's wronged you guys? You're like... I don't even know. You're worse than cut purses. You're just bad. You're failures. I don't know how to say. I don't know what else to say. Imagine being on a stand and being like, you know what? One day we're going to let a really big one loose. We're going to cut a really heavy one. Cackle Satan would pass out from taking a whiff of this. Would be really bad.
And that was probably, I posted what the probably intended use of cut the mustard is, but there is slang for cutting the mustard, meaning whatever.
Yes, I am just playing into that.
Please, cut it out.
But as we know, behind the door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away.
Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there, unconscious with a gun in her hand.
To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? That's right, Golf, that's right.
Couldn't have, even if we'd wanted to.
We struck everything back when we found it in Scorput, straight in him in the black.
Hold it! Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun. Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah. We were all a bit hasty there.
We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up.
If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand.
Good advice, miss, good advice.
Truth be told, me mind went totally blank.
Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand.
Mental note made, miss.
After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or something, so they clapped derbies on us like winking. And after you'd been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah.
Well, listen, that proves it, doesn't it, eh? We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we?
Hold it! And why should we believe that?
Eh? Or, well, 'cause it's true, isn't it?
The place was totally empty when we went in. At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these 2 witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Windybank. Correct? You've got it, mister.
Down to a T.
So, the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Windybank? Is that really true? I wonder. That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony?
What is it, Runa? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired.
Oh, thank you. But I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh. But I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something. Something important. It's nothing more than a feeling, though. I have no proof to support it.
Well, feelings can be very logical at times.
Sorry?
People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can take all that in and your brain will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling like you describe. You've concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts.
Trust your instincts.
Iris, Thank you. Sometimes I think that if she's 10 years old, I must be 5.
She is an exceptionally brilliant 10-year-old. All right. Hmm. Hmm. What is suspicious here?
Hold it!
I misclicked. Sorry. I can probably cut this short by just doing a pursuit. Oh, I wasn't even allowed to do a pursuit. Okay, that works. Okay, let's see. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe it's something related to this. Maybe? I'm just checking this. Hmm. Let's look at all of our evidence and think this through. Hmm.
That one line where they're saying that they put everything back to normal. We have pictures of the before and after, right? So was
Yes.
there actually anything missing? Or out of place?
Let me look at the preview.
If you're looking at the preview, then that thing has been shifted. The
I
one
mean,
big
yeah,
box
but we
in the
talked
very
about
end.
that last time. There's still 2 papers stuck here. What about these 2 at the edge? There's 2 at the edge here.
Still there.
There's still 2 at the edge. Hmm. There's nothing in the skull. There's still 2 pieces of paper there. So yeah, I don't think this is the right statement to look at first time. Okay. Like, the interesting thing is this doesn't make sense. This statement no longer makes sense. Because they said they never even had a chance to shoot him, right? And they said that they never even saw him. That statement doesn't make sense because they just said, like, he had a gun. Like, this statement no longer makes sense because it's a contradiction to their other things. I'm gonna see if I repress it if there's anything new.
You're saying that even the bank had a gun? Oh, yeah, this is continuing. This is already gone through.
Yeah. Let's see. Why hasn't he pointed out the contradiction? Because they previously said, like, they never even saw him. And I did the presenting of the evidence, and the judge was like, this alone isn't sufficient. Which implies that we need to point out something else by presenting even more evidence. But I don't know what that something else could be. That's the problem. Like, I am legitimately not sure what he wants. So, let's continue looking at the evidence a little bit. Like, we could theoretically say this, right? Like, theoretically, we could say that the picture doesn't make sense. Like, this doesn't make sense because if he was the one holding a gun and he was yelling at her, like, if you don't want to get shot, like, put yours down, he wouldn't be doing that with his back turned. Like, you see what I mean?
Mm.
Like, the way that they're telling it, he was having, like, essentially a Mexican standoff with her. But so, like, I want to say that the evidence here is, like, you can't have, like, this can't have happened because it doesn't make sense. Like, A, they said that they never saw him, but B, if they were having a Mexican standoff and he was the one with the gun, how did he suddenly get shot in the back? And more importantly, like, beyond holding the gun, he was actively yelling at someone. If technically you're the one holding a gun and you're having a standoff with someone, you're not gonna turn your back on them, right?
Right.
Okay. So I think this is logically what they want me to do, and if it's not, I'll be slightly upset.
Objection!
Objection!
So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windybank, was wielding a gun. Is this correct?
I see, Gov. You've got a picture.
Yes, now she has no question.
And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windybank was not holding a firearm of any description.
Eh? You what? Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There can be no question the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windybank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand.
Yeah, that Molotooler used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun.
Bang.
Corner Dane.
Hold it. Stay exactly where you are. Right there.
Eh?
If the crime had taken place as you've so colorfully described in your testimony, it would have given rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness, are you sure, Counsel? You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support that claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments?
I think it's the exact same piece of evidence I just presented because he was shot in the back.
Take that!
Take that. According to that testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of, "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot.
Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of the death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, if I could ask the court to study the photographs of the victim's body again, you can clearly see that Mr. Windybank was in fact shot from behind. So as I have stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. Skulkin.
Put some more emotion into it.
Hmm?
More emotion.
More emotion
There's an
There's an
undeniable
undeniable
inconsistency.
in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Emotional, damn it!
Very effective. Yeah.
But it's the God honest truth. It is not, it is. What he was shot at night. A shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. We saw it with our own believing eyes.
Did I hear you just right? Just now, you actually saw Mr. Windybank holding a gun.
Something like that might have slipped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person.
Nash? Order! Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, it was supposed to,
It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you. Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies?
ever so sort of. Truth is, we, cut it out, Nash, cut it out. If we blow up now, you know what it'll do to us.
E? Who are they talking about?
Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you.
Bro, come on, the game's up. But it'll have our guts for garters.
In case it hasn't been quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place.
Well,
Do we have to? On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Do not trifle with me again.
Witness testimony. Encounter with the victim.
alright, so we just got inside the gaff and heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it. Poor old geezer bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all that happened, I swear.
So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop. Well, yeah. Sorry. Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably.
What? But honest, Governor, it's time.
This time, this time, we ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes,
Yes,
my
my
lord.
This is it. The moment I've been waiting for.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
I just wanted to make a reference with that. Also, when this music picks up like this, you kick, all of this is me. This game has no voice acting with the exception of the like speech bubbles that pop up with like hold it or objection. All of this is me, except for Ryunosuke, who is Tachi. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Also, if anyone who is subbed wants to do a voice in the characters, you can come in Discord and join the call. There is a space here for doing this. And it's where Tachi is. Alright. So.
Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug.
Hold it. When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windybank.
Who else? Sorry, I mean, that's right.
We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that.
The back room being the pawnbrokery's storeroom.
Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. Only place he could have been. So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises.
Which means Jenny must have been there at that point as well. Oop. That means Jenny must have been in there at that point as well.
But that doesn't make sense, does it?
If Gina had threatened Mr. Windybank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint,
Then
sorry.
why wouldn't he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived?
oh, I don't know.
Did you see the accused at the time?
Oh, at Moltola? Couldn't tell you.
No way, Cobber. We have bigger fish to fry in. I mean, the old geezer just lost it.
I just realized one of his buttons is silver. It bothers me. Why is one of your buttons silver? The other two are bronze. Seems a very intentional character design choice. Why is it like this? I need to know!
You need to know.
Yes. Also, you hear the like beep 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 underneath, like when I'm saying something? Hold on. Yeah, like that beep 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 beep, that noise. That is the only hint that you get to like indicate a character's tone of voice in the game for like 99% of dialogue. So, for example, like you can hear Nash's beeps are a little bit higher pitched than Ringo's. Oh, wait, no, they're the same. Usually, like this sort of beeping, if not deeper, is for male characters, and it's like a lot higher beeping for female characters. But that's all you get. So I'm just making up voices based on their personalities and different things. Thank you, YouCake. So yeah. These games in general do not have voice acting. It is one of the things that is both good and bad about them. Because the characters tend to be very, very interesting, and adding voices to them, I think, makes it like an audio drama. It's pretty cool. I like it. So, it's the reason why I like voice acting these games. Alright, onwards with the trial.
Give me that corny bell out and it flew us like it was possessed. I thought we'd had it.
Hold it!
Hold it. You mentioned that Mr. Windybank shouted those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claim that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door.
Oh. Did we?
But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he?
Well, yeah.
Was the victim, Mr. Windybank, wielding a gun at the time?
Was he ever? Blimey lummy. Great ugly barrel head. Swore it straight at me frontispiece.
So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windybank with the gun at that time. Is that correct?
It is, Gov, it is. Spot on. And all of a sudden he came at us, didn't he? Didn't. It was bedlam. I didn't know who was going for who.
You were clearly all going for each other.
What Norse said, we thought we'd had it. I mean, for an old gazer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter, full stop.
Hold it!
Hold it. Yes, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too.
Well, yeah, of course we did. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull, whatnot. And got tangled in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked them scales on the floor.
So in fact, it wasn't the sound of gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter.
Well, big brother here went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. And the old geezer pinned him. He did not, she did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds.
At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via a secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There is a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim.
That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and came and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they?
Poor Mr. Windybank. He did everything he could to protect his shop. Yukik Tachi, Yukik says that we're working well together.
I put my gun on him and he legged it through our door into the back room.
Hold it!
Hold it. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windybank?
No, never. Oh, I was just, you know, how do I say it? Looking out for me brother, weren't I? He was being flattened, don't forget.
By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes.
And then, the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away and ran off through that door and shot himself in.
There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true.
I wonder why Mr. Windybank ran away into the storeroom.
What?
Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun.
Yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windybank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windybank's hands again?
I have no idea, but that is strange, isn't it?
This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it.
Look, the point is, me and me brother,
That's right, nurse, that's right. Me and me brother here. We never had nothing to do with killing them. That's all what happened, I swear.
I might as well press the last one just to say it.
Hold it!
Hold it. You say you've had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. Old geezer went and shot himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was from the inside. We know it was because we tried to open it. But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Won't budge an inch. So
Oh.
in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Tatsu, that's you.
Ah. Second time I did it. I guess the first one was picked up.
It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, Counsel?
I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Windybank?
Let's see. I'm betting that this is Sholmes's blood. We know that this is Mason's blood because of whatever, the stuff. But I'm wondering, like, clearly I think that we need to say that it had to be someone else because otherwise we're kind of at a deadlock here. But my problem is I'm not prepared to present evidence as to who else it could be at this point. Because of the... Let's think about this some more. With the facts of the case as we know it, we know that the Skulkin brothers shot Sholmes. They've admitted to that. And that doesn't seem to be in doubt. And we saw their silhouettes when they shot Sholmes too. So that was when their gun was used. We know that it was only fired for a single round. So at that point, the one round that was used was to shoot Sholmes. I'm pretty sure that the gun, like the green spatter of blood, is Sholmes' blood as a result. And then they booked it. Windybank's gun was shot once. They said that it's the murder weapon, but I don't know if they did a ballistics analysis on it. We know that it was shot once, but I don't know if they know about ballistics at this point in time in history. Because, like, this is where, like, anesthesia is brand new, so I'm not sure if... Well, by the time they've gotten revolvers, they probably know about ballistics. Because this is... These are both, like, 6-chamber revolvers. But this one is, like, more of a, like, short pistol stock, where this one is more of a longer... Wait, I never examined this, did I? Let's just examine it. I want to see if there's anything in here. You have to pop your 2 prints in here to start with, you see?
And then, when you look through the eyepieces, you can see the image in 3 dimensions.
The important thing is to get right the position of the 2 prints.
I don't know who came up with this idea of the stereoscope, but it's quite fascinating.
Let's open the latch.
Ooh, look at that. It totally changed shape, just from one little button press.
Well, that is what the button's for, Uno. You're just like Hurley. You boys love pressing buttons, don't you? Especially if you don't know what they do.
Us boys? Says a 10-year-old girl.
Anyway, now that you can see what it really is a stereoscope, can't you? Is there anything interesting inside this? What about this golden part? Oh no, it doesn't say anything. Okay. No, I don't think we have anything. Okay. I mean, theoretically, yes. Because we know that... What do you call it? Like, we could theoretically say that, like, what's-his-face was there? Benedict. Like, we could say it was him. I don't have any evidence for it, but we could at least try. Because he is the most sus person we know of right now. Alright, let's go with that.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Eh? What? You what, mate?
What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted that you had encountered the victims face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely.
It did?
What is your point, my learned friend?
The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Windybank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all.
You have my attention. You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
You will get that.
In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect to two conundrums.
Who, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, perhaps?
Indeed, namely. From what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord.
Are you alright, Bruno?
I'm not entirely sure. But there's one thing I'm sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely.
So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun.
I would assume that it would have to be out here, right? Because we know that the storeroom was locked from the inside. Therefore, if they were actually in the room, unless there is an unknown secret passage that leads into that room, which would be kind of cheap right now, it's not possible to have killed him from inside of the room and then to have escaped. The window that you can get in, that you can see into the room from, is small enough that it would be impossible for any human to fit through that, unless they were like baby sized. So, that said, however, that window is definitely large enough to shoot someone through. So, Andrew, you say TP imp to the other room. You would need to have been there first. That's the thing. And then you would still have... Oh wait, you mean like TP imp out of the door? That's true. But the problem is everyone here is a fraud, and they don't have any TP imps. so that can't be a possible solution. Especially Everett. He's a JoJo character, but he's also poor. And he's trying to, like, pull off schemes. Hello.
Hello.
So, all of that said, I think it has to be from right here. Also, how was your day?
Pretty good. I'm in today.
The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here.
And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time?
They were in here.
Take that! The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom.
Continue.
Mr. Windybank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of the blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired?
So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony,
I pulled my gun on him and he legged it through that door into the back room.
if Mr. Windybank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time.
Useless body.
Oh,
It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom.
You can take over for those two if you would like again.
Okay.
Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial?
Moving on to the finding of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself.
Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety.
Ah, of course. He would have had been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body at an upward trajectory.
Interesting. So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windybank.
Objection!
Objection! I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock?
But what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there's got to be someone else who could have locked the storeroom door.
Is that so? Very well, then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shot and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
There's only one case it could be. No one else was in the room.
Yeah,
Gina-
would have to be her.
Exactly. But the question is, why did she do it? I'm still
Well,
curious.
I mean, would you not shut and lock the door if someone was shot in front of you
True.
from outside?
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time.
True.
The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
Objection! That That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her own neck. I am inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel?
Is it Lestrade or is it Lestrade?
Lestrade.
Lestrade?
Mhm.
Ah, yes. That is a tricky one, isn't it?
Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
But of course, Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? Touchy?
Is this not obvious to Runosuke?
It does?
It wasn't obvious to me, so I can kind of see why. Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. Like, in retrospect, it makes perfect sense, but, like, in the, like, initial 10 seconds, it hadn't clicked. Like,
Yeah,
5
yeah.
seconds, it hadn't clicked for me. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they?
Oh, yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windybank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Windybank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Did you want to take over, or do you want me to keep going with them?
Sorry, just responding on Slack. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv!
If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom.
Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windybank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what do we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment?
I see where you're going with this.
Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windybank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it. In order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't, Gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on. We'd never shoot no one.
Objection!
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you Skulkin brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windybank's murder.
Where? What does this leave us?
You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all?
I should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as a dense forest.
That was amazing, Runo. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now.
I know, first time ever, and probably the last.
Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict of not.
But hold on, why does she have a gun?
Don't take a gun.
It is a gun that has special chemicals in it that allow her to do blood tests.
Oh, okay.
Like, these are gathered from her firing that gun at various bloodstains.
An admirable effort, my learned friend.
What is this now? She's laughing?
You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zieks? I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive. I dare say, such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But
boss,
such...
what's a chicanery?
But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here.
What?
You won't, mate. The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw.
Flaw?
Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your own logic's failing? I say, Lord Van Zakes. Might be an idea to explain what this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground, The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. By George, count bullets?
Oh dear. He noticed then.
Huh? What's everyone talking about?
Counsel?
Yes, sir?
Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime.
2. 2 bullets.
Correct. Good. You can do basic math and remember basic facts. The first, which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene. Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet early in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar. Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know that there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windybank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend.
I was hoping you'd do that.
You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Sherlock Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness, I think I'll find.
That if the single bullet that was fired from the brother's gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means...
Windybank not shot by same gun. Stop. Only 1 bullet. Stop.
Exactly. Yes, this Nippony street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it wasn't ever anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny.
Ow, that one hurt my throat.
Order. Order.
Order.
Oh,
Order. Order.
Wow.
He just fucking yeeted it.
You can't ask for, like, you can't ask for forgiveness as you're doing it.
He just freaking yeeted it into the gallery.
Man, somebody's gonna be pissed.
I'm sorry.
first ever case of a bottle flip.
Oh, that got me good. He just yeets it into the gallery.
It's
Oh.
gonna hit somebody in the head, and then he's gonna be on the defendant's side.
Oh my god, he literally just yeeted it into the gallery. Just whoop. but goodbye. Oh, okay. Oh, that was good. Give me a sec. I have to stop laughing so I can shift back.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. Lord Van Zeeks? But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can, regrettably, no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbroker on the night in question with a loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print, which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present.
That disc.
I'll be taking out whatever it is and McGill it's down to the yard, thank you very much.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. Mine.
I'm sorry, miss. Well, anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
Yes, that music box disc. McGilded's music box disc.
The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windybank, the accused attempted to make off with this article which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence. Good gracious! Make no mistake. Any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets this fact at its peril. I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel, as a grim testament to the defendant's character.
That voice didn't sound like what I expected Gregson to sound like at all.
Lord Van Zeeks,
Inspector Gregson? What?
Yes, Inspector? We had a meeting yesterday at the York with the prosecution service and, I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all.
I am unaware of any such meeting.
Do you want to do Gregson too? In addition to Nash and the other brothers?
What? Those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insisting.
Inspector, I am the prosecutor and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you for your contribution. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. Indeed. Bailiff?
The music
Music
box
box
disc has been entered into the court record.
Ta-da!
The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing
He's
more to
very
add.
based.
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 Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case.
Don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once. For all of 5 minutes.
Oh dear. It wasn't even 5 minutes, Runo.
Hello, wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog up till now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, that's as badly obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it.
No.
Oh no. Very well. The court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
I like his guilty.
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 Shoo. The scales weigh heavy.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be. Because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. You will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Goddamn Scorpion is primed and ready for action, sir. Oh, blaster chain. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty.
Jury findings. Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions.
What's a rogue always a rogue, I'll say, Different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see him in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. It would seem there is little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forth by a chap in black. When that fell apart like a house of cards, I thought I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more.
The whole courtroom's turning against me.
It's not fair.
Iris?
That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done some things she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer.
You just yeeted a bottle across. Where the fuck did you get a new one from?
Allow me to savor this fruity
That's a
vintage,
superpower.
while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out. Eventually. That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination.
Slap.
Oh, he missed the desk.
Yes, my lord.
Oh. Since I don't think the 2 will be coming back, you can do the other people. You can do the males and the jury if you would like instead of the 3.
Alright. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
Hold it.
Hold it! Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, well.
Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge?
I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces? The greatest military organization in the world?
No, I'm simply illustrating my point.
Oreo touches me.
I see. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or pickpocket is wrong and dangerous.
Well, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget, the girl had already shown she had it in her before. She's clearly a criminal, some sort, through and through. Can't deny it.
When you say that she'd shown she had it in her, are you referring to this?
Sorry. Exactly. Tried to swipe it only the day earlier, Or am I mistaken?
Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that.
I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it.
Oh, yes, of course. Mr. Sholmes did use that caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then ordered every type of music box he could find across Europe.
We still don't know what tune it plays, though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy.
McGilded's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it more in detail.
Did you see Oreo's comment?
I did.
As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
Hold it! It's the number of bullets that you have that has you convinced.
Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlour maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes?
sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position.
A third bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that be possible?
In Mr. Sholmes?
No, because we think that the bullet that hit Sholmes went through him. And it's that bullet.
So did we ever actually confirm that the shopkeep's bullet was fired?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has been confirmed that his gun has been fired once.
Gotcha.
And similarly, the Skulkin brothers, it has been confirmed that their gun was fired once.
Unless they reloaded.
There are no signs of multiple rounds having been fired. And these are the only 2 guns we have. So one of the facts of the case as it stands right now is that there are only 2 guns that we are currently aware of, and each of them has fired 1 bullet. We know that one of them almost certainly, this one is almost certainly the one that hit Sholmes, went through him, and hit the calendar behind him. We know that the other one is what killed Windybank. So, is there any evidence of a 3rd bullet at any point in time? Also, the gun that is being held here is actually Mr. Windybank's. Like, Gina took his gun, but this is actually his gun. So this is not a 3rd gun. This is still one of these 2 guns.
Sherlock Holmes was also, Sherlock Sholmes was also in the building during the gunfight, right?
Yes, but he did not have a gun.
So what if Gina shot at the thieves and accidentally hit Sholmes?
Hi, clown! Not possible because, we were there when Sholmes was shot. The two thieves. Like we saw, well, we don't necessarily know it was the two thieves, but at this point, it's like 99% certain that it was them. We saw their silhouettes. They got arrested immediately afterward, and that's why they're here in court. And they've also admitted to it. They were the ones who shot Sholmes.
Oh, they admitted it.
Yes.
I was thinking, like, what if they shot at the same time, so it was hard to determine who shot who?
No, Sholmes didn't have a gun at the time. He was taken completely unaware, and he was also shot badly enough and was injured badly enough by the shot that he needed surgery. So he was in no position to retaliate with fire. They also were able to get away cleanly. Like, they weren't injured in Sholmes. There has been no mention of Sholmes having a gun. Okay, well, get you back when you come back. So for right now, I want to say that it's not impossible,
But we can't prove it.
but we can't prove it either. Like, I don't have enough evidence. So we'll come back to this.
Unfortunately, only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during the investigation.
Yes, I know.
Ah, right.
And I don't imagine the good men of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well, I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt.
And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. It sounds like the crime scene to me.
A third bullet. That's you.
It would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it?
Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere?
No, I don't like it when he says, "Stop it, please." It's making me uncomfortable. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, that was the it was the pickpocket.
Also, I want to keep the Russian guy, but you can do these two.
Okay. Why do you want to keep the Russian?
Because I love doing Russian accent. It's very fun.
It's very fun, yes.
So, if I've understood correctly, you need 2 pictures, a left eye one and a slightly different one, right eye one.
Exactly. Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions, like this.
So, if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with.
Now that I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is the girl in the dock.
How could you be so sure of that?
Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they?
Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice.
Well, surely it's coming from into focus now, isn't it?
This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon.
I never imagined that a simple operation would cause me such grief.
Hold it! Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it has nothing to do with the trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bully had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
Huh? Huh?
Eh?
Okay, this changes quite a lot. Like, I know that
He
he
left
was...
the bullet in there.
No, like, he doesn't know where a scalpel is. He admitted that earlier that it was a scalpel.
Yeah.
But this one statement is absolutely massive. Because he's like... Because, again, the entire assumption here was that... wrong evidence. Was that this bullet here was the bullet that hit Sholmes.
Uh-huh.
And it passed through on the way out and splattered on the calendar behind him. However, if we've just been told that Sholmes' bullet didn't exit his body and he was taken to the hospital, we now have conclusive evidence of 3 bullets on the scene. This changes quite a lot.
I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering all about this time, you were operating on.
What was that fellow's name now? Herlick? No. Herlock? No. Herlock.
Herlock Shums by any chance?
Yes, good lord! It was that Herlock fellow!
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right. Using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bolt anywhere. I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to say the obvious, but
Yes? Out with it, boy!
surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
The counsel for the defense is correct, as is clearly shown in this photographic print.
The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall, where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Pancake? Are you saying you checked his back?
Of course I did. Why, there wasn't a trace of an injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
What?
That's the point! The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I set about slicing him up. I'm still none the wiser, even now. How many times do I have to say it?
It is astronomically lucky that out of the 6 million people in Britain, we got this guy again. And on top of that, he was the surgeon that did Sholmes.
There's only so many surgeons to go around.
True.
Especially back in these days.
Yeah.
They were barbers beforehand.
Yeah, but the jury selection process is supposed to be random. What are the odds that
Yeah.
this guy gets picked? He happens to be a surgeon, and he also happens to be the person who operated on Sholmes in a case related to Sholmes getting shot.
Well, what's her name? The little girl also mentioned that it's very curious that these particular individuals were picked for the jury. And I think that either she pulled something behind the back or someone pulled something to get these specific jurors on the case. Because that Russian guy is a ballistics expert, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That would be the only reason why a tourist would be here.
Juror number 1 was also on a previous case in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Who is... yeah.
Jurors number 1, juror number 2, juror number 4, and 5 have all been in previous cases. Juror number 6 has technically also been in a previous case, but never in person.
What,
He
that
was in
letter?
case 2. He is a Russian revolutionary who has traveled away from Russia. He's also a master of disguise. There was a scene there where we thought a Russian ballerina who had escaped from Russia, who was being supported by the ship, was actually the escaped convict because of the disguise that she had on.
Can someone please explain to me how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how much this jury was put together.
Of course he references it. Okay,
The
so
mystery of where that bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one?
I'm gonna put
Ah,
this.
there you go.
I think this is a pit. I think this is a successful pit. What we're pitting
I
together
think you
is
can
that
also go
statement.
the Russian.
Yeah. But this is more
It
directly.
specifies expert.
Yes, but that is something that we're going to follow up on afterward. This is just, she is hung up on specifically the number of bullets. What this posits is that we know for a fact that there are now 3 bullets. So this is why it shuts her statement down. So only 2 bullets were found at the scene. I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
Objection!
Oh, I was wrong.
These two statements clearly contradict each other.
Sorry, old bean. Can't accept that as squadron leader.
What?
All fighting for a common cause, don't you know? My chaps. No way they'd contradict one another.
I concur, Mr. Foreman. You will refrain from personal attacks on the jury based solely on your own frustrations, Counsel. I will penalize you.
And really frustrating thing is, I thought I identified a genuine discrepancy here.
I know, right? There are lots of questionable characters in the Garadab squadron. You might have to listen to what they have to say a few times before it starts to make sense.
Yes, and press them on anything that sounds suspicious. That's the way forward here. But still, should we really be labeling members of the jury as questionable?
Yes. The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see him in for a busy day ahead.
Hold it!
What do you mean, you're in for a busy day?
Forgot to say, stop. Do excuse me, stop. I'm a communications officer, stop.
Communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams?
Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital. I convert all the messages into Morse code and type it out to the entire world electronically.
To the entire world?
Thousands of miles of cable under the sea. Stop! Worldwide communication network. Stop! With information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe. Stop!
Ah, yes. She was getting equally worked up about radio waves or the like before, wasn't she?
I specialize in communicating information from government departments and newspaper offices.
I see.
I'm sure I should have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. So, no sleep for me tonight, I imagine.
Let's just finish up the trial first, shall we?
I'm ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
Hold it!
I thought you were just a tourist.
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
There's no way he's just a visiting tourist.
Visiting?
Visiting. So you're a ballistics expert. Who knew?
I have much experience with guns.
Ah,
I have lived through many. How do you say? Extreme, violent bath of, no, blood of,
Ah, extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps?
those extreme violent bloodbaths. English is a very difficult tongue.
considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue.
Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know. No mystery I cannot solve.
He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure.
But, if possible, please, only in Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he?
No, still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets.
Okay, so that's everything.
I'm gonna go grab dinner, I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll take over then. Welcome back, Indra.
Van Zix has managed to convince everyone.
When you have eliminated the impossible, he said. But he hasn't.
If we're going to fight back, we need more material. We have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again.
Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
So I think that probably like the
Mystery.
yeah, I think you might be right with the putting it against hitting these two. Where the first statement is that the mystery of where the bullet ended up is infuriating, whereas an expert when you need one, and the second statement is that we have a ballistics expert and that there's nothing he doesn't know about guns. So I thought the first one was going to be like, well, we don't know where the third bullet is. So, I mean...
Yeah, so I guess it's just like you have to prove that there was a third bullet, right?
Yeah, and then use
because it's just
that
an
to-
idle statement from the doctor.
Yeah, okay. So let's go with that.
Objection.
Objection! Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pictures against each other.
That's you.
Oh, a ballistics expert.
Pitting. P-I-T-T. On the night in
You
question,
said titty.
Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold. Golly. The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. This guy's scary. I was shot from behind and I fell down in snow. And the situation was very similar to what I heard today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of, how do you say? No exit wound. Then where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well,
Oh, that's you.
Well, if it never hit you, why'd you fall down?
bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What?
Ugh.
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looked just like bullet wound.
Good gracious.
Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
But that doesn't answer the question at all.
Hmm?
The shooting happened in the pawnbroker's shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country.
Bruh, there is such a thing as taking knowledge gained in one situation and applying it to a parallel situation with similar circumstances. As a
Gentlemen,
doctor,
he's a surgeon, not a doctor scientist.
as a doctor, you should be able to conduct basic reasoning.
Just an idea, but we might be not looking at exactly the same scenario here.
Oh no. Where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations.
What? Really?
Should-
Doctor! Where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I can remember.
If I may.
Lord Van Zeeks?
While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom.
Sorry?
As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it has been in my safekeeping, along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand the prosecution present the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that! One of the files is broken, and the leather around it is scorched black! It's almost as if the file exploded!
Exploded?
So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin Brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass vial exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop.
Okay, so?
A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it will appear one mystery has been solved at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Thank you very much.
Glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy.
Objection.
Objection. Sholmes' pouch has been entered into the court record.
Now, the summation examination.
Before that, let's look at this pouch in more detail. Dun, 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 dun. What does the yellow do? These glass vials are full of Hurley's homemade potions.
Homemade?
Yes, like fingerprint powders to show up where people have touched things, and scent amplifying solution to intensify smell lingering on an object.
That's amazing.
They're all very easy to use. There's just one thing that you have to be careful of. They're all very flammable.
Mr. Sholmes is a walking bomb! Either he's passionate about finding out the truth or just oblivious to the dangers.
Wait, is that the bullet?
Yep. That's the
Hello?
bullet. Wait, is that the actual bullet?
That's what I'm saying.
It's really scorched badly just here.
Oh, the strap is broken, look.
This must be where the bullet hit then.
Let me see. It is! Yo!
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
What the? Iris, look! Look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it?
That's the Skulkin Brothers' bullet!
What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch! This is an amazing discovery! What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Windy Banks that night!
We found exactly what that juror was talking about. The third bullet.
It's time to press that juror again, I think.
The third bullet has been entered into the court record.
How was that missed? Excuse me?
I know, right? Like, actually, how?
Scotland Yard?
Scotland Yard, what are you doing? How did you miss something that massive? Please,
Maybe
do
it's
your
'cause
job.
It was still being carried on him, like when he was gurneyed away to the hospital.
Maybe. Also, Phasius, Indra said that you aced the other person.
Oh, which person?
The other guy, I don't know who, because you've done like 5, 6
Apparently
characters
it's
at
a
this
pun.
point. I mean, it could be a pin just to say that you aced it because this is Ace Attorney.
Ah, yeah.
I just don't know who the other guy was. But congratulations on the compliment.
Thank you, Indra. I love you. Oh, the old guy. Got it.
This vial has been smashed to pieces. Presumably, this is where the bullet struck.
As soon as the bullet hit the chemical in that vial, there would have been a really big explosion.
Big explosion?
Well, Hurley's potions and chemicals are amazingly useful for the investigation work he does, but they're also quite tricky to handle. Safely, at least. They're quite dangerous. Oh. I'm sure that when this vial broke, the chemical inside would have ignited.
Note to self, always walk on the right-hand side of films in future. The left is the danger zone.
And this is the hole where we found the bullet.
This is where the thawed bullet was lodged. Imagine what would have happened if it pierced the leather. Thank goodness Mr. Sholmes is gonna be alright.
Okay.
It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion, Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryunosuke. There's still a way to turn this around. Somehow. I'm sure of it.
Let's go back.
God, I hate when he does that.
What? This?
Stop! No! Don't put it back to him! Stop!
Why do you hate? Why
It's
do you hate
weird.
this? How is it
It's
weird?
supposed to be a piece of metal. Why is it like rubber? And why is it making a rubber sound?
It's flexible. It's a gold-plated string. It's just string.
No.
Metal doesn't bend at the hook that way.
Then why is it shiny?
Because it's gold-plated.
Yeah, media, but it's bouncy, yes, but it doesn't make the sound of a stretching like rubber band.
It's a thread. It's literally just gold-colored thread.
It bothers me anyway.
It's glued at the top and like treat it with strengthening solution at the top where you can see it's not actually flexing at all, so that it'll have that curve. And then the rest is just, you don't hear the like, listen, you hear the like, wow, wow, wow.
See, I'm listening through Discord so I can actually hear the game directly.
Oh, I will turn it up so that you can hear it. Give me a sec. Let me know if this is too loud. Did you hear it?
I can hear it on both sides.
Okay. Hold on, I may actually have an easier way to do it. Let me double check if this works without it being loud. There we go. Hear it?
Getting back to us, taunting Basius with these sounds and the
Please.
Yeah, this is a good track. I like this track. Alright, we need to press her. That's only 2 bullets found at the scene. I would say the whole case is done and dusted. Actually, no. Hold it. Oh, do you want to go back to doing this stuff?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just like eat.
Oh, you're still eating?
right now, so.
Okay.
It's the number of bullets that has you convinced?
Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many I invited for dinner, I was told to the table settings.
Oh, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes?
sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position.
A third bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that be possible?
I can prove it!
Allow me to show you then. The third bullet.
She must not have been paying attention.
I mean, to be fair, in like universe, what actually happened here is we got the pouch. It was entered into evidence. We walked over to it, like played with it a bit, made like a super shocked expression while we were muttering to each other, and then walked back over.
Fair enough, yeah.
So she might be curious, but she wouldn't know what we found. We might have just, for all she knows, we were like freaking out at the explosion. Anyway, I like how it's like, let me show you the third bullet, and the evidence is literally just called the third bullet. Take this.
Take that!
Take that.
Here it is. We discovered it just now.
So smug.
That sounds like a good argument.
On the night in question in Winniebank's Promenbakery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
Hold it. What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet?
It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes's pouch.
What?
This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes's waist before he was taken to the hospital. And since then, it has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired to Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print.
Oh wait, that's you.
Ah!
2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windybank and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers.
An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each.
But that must mean...
That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scenes. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment.
So dramatic, Jesus.
This game is so fun to be in because of the over-dramatic parts. It's just so much fun.
It's awesome.
Order! 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 While this summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination.
Jupiter!
What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once.
Oh boy.
Things are heating up.
You're filled with determination.
Your 3
Yeah.
characters are back.
Witnesses?
I forgot what the... Governor!
Were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination?
We was, Governor. We was.
That one's lower.
Oh yeah. We was, Governor. We was.
Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer the one question. A third bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Undertale.
Make of it, Gov. I don't make nothing of it. I can't help it.
Is it one of yours?
God blimey, Gov. God blimey. Not a chance.
In that case, did you have an accomplice?
What? What? Never. The Skulkin brothers work alone. The 3 brothers. It's just the 2 of us. It's just the 2 of us. That's our trademark.
How soon we forget poor Sulky.
Sulky.
Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it?
Lummy, that's an head scratcher.
Counsel for the defense.
Yes?
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The 3rd bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came.
Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture. A picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this 3rd bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers.
So, 2 days, or like two sessions ago, they mentioned that they had 3 brothers, and then corrected themselves by saying that the other guy, the detective guy, was the 3rd brother. Let's call him Sulky.
Yeah, he looks just like their brother.
Ah.
So, I'm pretty sure it's not that they had another gun. I think
Secret accomplice, maybe?
it's nothing to do with them. Because
Really?
let's say that they do have a secret accomplice.
Uh-huh. Like the 3rd brother
Yeah,
that looks like Sulky.
yes. Why didn't we find them at the scene of the crime?
He got away. I don't know.
But then why don't we find those 2? We found those 2 at the scene of the crime. Like, we ran into them in the pawn shop 2 sessions ago. When they shot Sholmes. So, another question. We know that at 1 o'clock, Gina held up the pawnbroker, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the autopsy report. So there is a 30-minute window where what we think happened, as we've been reasoning it thus far, she comes in at 1 o'clock. She holds him up with his own gun, and she's like, okay, let me into the storeroom. I need to check something. I don't have the claim slip for it, but given I'm pointing a gun at you, you're not gonna say no. So he goes into the room. Someone else, a 3rd party, comes up behind him, like comes up while they're both in the room, shoots through the door and kills the pawnbroker. Gina is off to the side, and she sees him, he hears a break-in. He goes out, right? He sees a unidentified individual at this point. He threatens them, and then they pull a gun on him. He flips out, starts running away. He potentially fired at them. It's not clear. So, at that point, he realizes that he hasn't taken them out, obviously. So he starts running. He slams the door behind him and is running into the storeroom. The girl sees him run in, and at that moment, he gets shot, as he's running into the storeroom. So he collapses. She freaks out and immediately slams the door and locks it. The unknown party realizes that, oh, there's someone else in there, and books it. At some other point, the Skulkin brothers also break into the shop later and are rifling around just looking for stuff.
That's when.
And
That's
then,
when
yeah, we ran
Sherlock
into,
Holmes.
we ran into them, and we know the rest from there. The part that has a inconsistency
That's
with
a
this,
lot of people up and around at 1 a.m. in a place that has a curfew.
true. They're super unlucky that happened to happen, but the one inconsistency that I find with this is they said that they met him face to face, right?
Who
The Skulkin brothers.
they said they met
They-
Sherlock Holmes?
No, they met the pawnbroker face to face. And he
Oh, okay.
threw the other guy over the desk. That's how the stuff got messed up. We have evidence that shows, like, yeah, the stuff got disturbed.
Mhm.
So either A, they're lying about even that, or B, that's the actual truth. And, like, what I can't piece together is how them meeting the pawnbroker lines up with all of this. Like, that's the tricky part. Like, if we discount their testimony and just say that they were lying the whole time, because remember, they were like, he will get us if we say what the truth was. So they could have technically still been lying. If that was the case, then yeah, that would make sense. Alternatively, what they they could have been telling the truth where they said, like, someone else shot him. They came in, like, saw it, like, but that doesn't make sense either. So, like, their testimony is all over the place and doesn't necessarily make sense. So but regardless, the chain of events makes sense if there is a third party. Like, we know that there is by now.
Yeah.
But and we know that they shot Sholmes. So they can't have another thing is, if Skulky was involved in this, why would they bring him up? They had absolutely no reason to. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
they would be incriminating themselves and sharing details that they have absolutely no reason to, because nothing in this case would have changed had they not mentioned Skulky. Aside from them, like, just making fun of Gregson. And they're like, we haven't seen him in ages. So, also, the additional thing is, we know that this guy is involved somehow. We don't know if he's, like, the full murderer, but we know that he is involved. So, in all of that sense,
Okay.
it could be either.
But they're gonna ask, like, if not them, then who, right?
Yeah, it would be Egbert, for sure.
Okay.
Because he showed up trying to steal stuff from Windy Brink. The coat, he was trying to steal the disc, remember? And he was like, you'll regret this. He pulled a gun on us, too, remember?
Nope, wasn't here for that.
Oh. This guy, I will recap for you then. This guy showed up in the shop, when Gina was, like, trying to get the coat back from, like, the coat that she wears back from Windy Bank.
Uh-huh.
She had the recovery ticket. He had notes on her with the keyword, showed up and tried to get it back. But after, like, he eventually, like, took it from her, he was like, where's the disc? And she was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then we had it, like, we had found the disc first. And he was like, you need to give me that disc back. And then everyone was like, you didn't even know where it was. Like, this coat also doesn't necessarily even mean that it's yours. Like, he just kind of showed up and started claiming it. And we found the notes that he had, like, that he was using to tail Gina. So it's like, clearly this coat isn't yours, because you wouldn't have needed the notes otherwise. So why are you trying so hard to get this disc? And he pulled a gun on us and was like, hand it over. Thankfully the police showed up at that point and took him away, so we didn't, you know, get held up. But they also then took the disc into police custody at that time. And that's how the prosecutor has it. So,
Interesting.
all of that said, putting together everything that we know so far, I think he...
Edward that night because he assumed that the guy had the disc.
Yeah.
Which he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But here's the thing. What I'm trying to figure out is...
Maybe why you would kill
like,
someone.
he's blackmailed them. I don't think he's an would that be considered an accomplice?
Not unless he actually hired them to try and steal the thing and decided to just go there anyway, like an idiot. Which means he would have been trying to frame them for this.
I mean, but in that
So I
case,
wouldn't call him an accomplice.
But the thing is, he's already blackmailed them at this point. Remember, they were like actively terrified, like he will kill us
Ah, right.
if we say the truth.
So I think legally it's nothing to do with them because they were there to steal the disc, not to kill anyone.
Yeah. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea to say it because this is a bit semantic here.
Yeah.
Like we kind of know what happened. We pieced it together.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep
So
going.
we'll see.
It's nothing to do with them. I believe it has nothing to do with them.
Nash. That's right. Yeah, nothing to do with us, Grub.
We've established that one bullet was fired from each of the two guns already known to the court. The logical conclusion, therefore, is that on the night in question at Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery, there was another person present in possession of a third firearm. Whilst the brothers may have had nothing to do with the third gun or the bullet fired from it, it's inconceivable that they had nothing to do with the third man. Yes, the brothers were working with an accomplice! The accomplice who was carrying a gun!
Okay, so it was either way. I feel like either one of those would have worked.
An accomplice, you say? Pig swill. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time there has been not a murmur of a third man. If this apparently wraith-like being exists, the court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed just like my wine glass.
How has he not cut himself yet?
The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious character.
The Skulkins are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding?
Well, counsel?
Suppose to prove the existence of this accomplice, and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is...
We have hard evidence that he was there.
Yes. We have hard evidence that he was there. I'm gonna say it though. Because the bullet in the wall is now evidence that he was there. Alternatively, either the bullet, like, there are 2 cases. What I am proposing is that what do you call it? What I'm expecting is, let's assume for now that it's Eggert who did this, right? What I'm assuming is, let's go into deep big brain mode. So, he breaks in, right?
Getting big brain mode.
Like, okay, so what happens is, at 1 o'clock, Gina breaks in. She holds up Mr. Windybank at gunpoint and is like, I need to get into the storeroom. Open the storeroom and let me in. I need to check something. I promise you I'm not going to steal anything, I just want to see something. Because she's there to check if the manuscript is actually there. Because remember, like, they had a falling out the night before with Iris, and she was like, I bet Herlock hasn't even stored your manuscript and he sold it. So her idea is that she's going to come investigate and see if that manuscript is actually present or not. So while they're in there, Eggert breaks in. Windybank hears Eggert break in, comes outside, and is like, "Who are you? Like, if you don't want to get shot, like, give me the gun." Windybank fires. He misses, and
And then he missed.
or potentially even hits. Like, let's say he hit, but he only hit in like the shoulder or something. So, Eggert, the bullet goes through Eggert, comes out the other side, hits the calendar. Windybank realizes he hasn't taken the Eggert down, and he only had one bullet in his gun. He starts running into the back room. Eggert gives chase and fires as Windybank is running away and like stumbling through the door. Windybank immediately dies from the whole, like, shot through the chest, like through his heart. Gina, in the storeroom, freaks out, slams the door, locks it, grabs his gun, and holds it safe, thinking that there's still ammo in it, not knowing that there's no more ammo left.
Yeah.
Eggert, like, rushes over, like, slams on the door a bit, eventually, like, leaves. Or maybe after being shot, he just leaves immediately, and noticing, like, the door shut. So at that point, the third bullet is the one that killed Windybank. And the one in the wall was actually shot by Windybank. So in that case, the blood on the wall isn't Sholmes's, it's Windybank's, potentially. I mean, it's Eggert's, potentially. Okay. Let's go with this. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands.
So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. Entertain me.
I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference.
In that case, counsel, I will ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you had that there was a third intruder present at the scene?
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio.
By Jove, that portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of those blood samples proves the presence of this third intruder. Well, which one is it?
It's gotta be this one. We don't know who this is, and this is what I was talking about in my, like, walking through.
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar.
That's a blood stain, my lord.
A blood stain? Green blood. Curious, even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature?
It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Find the great detective!
New invention? Stop! Not yet appeared in stories! Stop!
It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color.
Different elements of people's blood?
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is.
Oh,
Sholmes bleeds
that
green.
brings a
That
whole
settles
extra
it.
dimension to looking at blood.
Sholmes bleeds green, that settles it. He's canonically an alien.
Also, hello, Wackerfrost. Nice to see you.
Talk of blood in courtroom! Stop! Very exciting! Stop! As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windybank.
Ah, a striking blue.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, so as you can see, the green color of this bloodstain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop.
Now hold fire there, young man. Could it be from an unrelated incident, couldn't it?
No, it's not unrelated.
Yeah.
The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windybank was killed.
My golly.
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day.
Then whose blood was it?
Well,
Is it?
the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Objection! Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear? You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder?
It's Eggert! Take that!
The man's name is Eggert Benedict.
Eggert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel?
He paid a visit to Wendy Bank's pawnbroker in the afternoon before the incident took place.
When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession.
Eggs. Yeah, he's oh, you haven't seen him, but he's a JoJo character. He like poses and everything, like every time he says something. And he looks kind of like Speedwagon if he were like even more rich.
That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force.
See? See what I mean?
Okay.
Yes, sir?
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
You gotta change your voice per character. Do more like JoJo, like more stuffy voice.
I believe this filthy pocket thief has redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes.
The article in question belongs to me. I demand that it be returned at once.
Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say, any music box discs too.
See, isn't he calling out his stand right now?
God damn. Stando.
Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this account, Inspector?
Yeah. Yes, my lord. Wait, I don't remember how this guy's was.
Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened.
That guy. That's his voice, basically.
Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Winterbank for a print showing the fella. Taken from his right-handed recorder, governess.
Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windybank that morning.
And you claim this man is the brothers' accomplice?
Well, Mr. Skulkin,
Oh, never seen the geezer before in my life. Of my life, governor, of my life. Never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice.
And if he had access to Zawordo, it's very possible to label him a suspect in how he can make the timestamps on the photos worthless. It's amazing that he got caught at all on the photos because they only get taken once every 30 minutes. So he just happened to be like in the line of sight of one of the photos, like at the 30-minute interval that they get taken.
Listen, he's a very rich man. He runs on a schedule. He has to do things by the book.
Fair enough.
yes, and I can.
Then show us the evidence.
I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is.
This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm gonna drag it, kicking and screaming, into the courtroom! Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel? Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet.
This is a hard one. How do we know, though?
Whose blood is that?
Oh, I see. I know what it is. We have the disc, right? I think this blood got on it when Gina ripped it out of Eggard's hands. If we shoot this with the stuff and it turns green, we have our proof.
Oh, Runo, look, this is blood.
Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
Then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. All right, hold still with that disc, Runo.
Can we get this done quickly, Iris?
In a flash. Pshoo.
Turn green.
Let's go!
Ah, there we go.
There it is. Let's go. Ooh, a lovely bright shade again.
Wait, that color.
What is it?
It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen it, is it?
The blood samples portfolio has been updated in the court record.
There we go.
Easy peasy.
Let's go. We actually have it now.
Take that! That proof is right here in this portfolio. Good gracious, counsel. Does that portfolio contain the answers to every question posed? I see you share my interest in claret-colored liquids, my Nepalese friend. But enough. The court demands to see further evidence. Which blood sample proves the man you identified was the one shot by the third bullet at the scene of the crime?
It's this one! Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windybanks. Which is when the aforementioned Eggard Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no? That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time.
Oops, sorry.
It was following this that a minor incident occurred.
Oh,
Oh.
But of course, here is the disc for you.
Very well. Wait, that's not it. That wasn't it. Then I should bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. That wasn't it either.
wait a minute.
Give it a try.
That disc is mine.
What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal.
Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions caused Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed. And the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now. Goodness, a blood stain, is it? My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom.
Using my trusty fogger gun.
Yes.
You're off the trigger, lady.
And we added the results to this portfolio.
Oh, that's you.
Oh, wait. I say!
It's green.
It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Eggert Benedict, who was in Winniebanks earlier in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night.
So there was someone else there. Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets.
Oi!
Who are you talking about? It's boiling in here.
We got him on the ropes.
My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Eggert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
Objection! This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant innocence of the mechanics of law.
Good.
Sherlock Holmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name.
The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes.
A god of detection or some such.
I thought that was his actual name. Like, he's a real dude here.
Yes, he is.
And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court of the land? Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world would turn the same color.
Good. Well,
You're gonna have to cut your hand open or something.
Boot up
What?
on the desk. I love his disrespect. It's so wonderful.
I want to see him put both boots on the desk.
I want to just see him do
Somehow.
that and just levitate. Just like
Yeah.
sheer leg strength is just holding him up on the desk. And he's just like,
Pray. And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes's word for it.
flexing his calf.
flexing. Is he right? Is Mr. Sholmes' concoction a bolt of radish?
I don't know. He's a great detective.
What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that.
I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Schultz's invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have?
I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief. What did you just say, young girl?
And in a summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now.
Yes, she's right!
Young lady, you have quite the devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Runo. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable! Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with.
Literally carrying your side of the story.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
She really is carrying this. She is so good. Super thumbs up for Iris. I bow in appreciation of your magnificence.
Unworthy of our shoulders.
We are unworthy of being carried by Iris.
After that shrewd presses of the situation from an entirely unexpected source. It must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion.
This is absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for its final leanings in the matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
4-4, 4-2.
What did the doctor say? Guilty.
I don't know. But 4-2 is enough to resume the trial after a split summation examination. So we're good.
2 call guilty and 4 call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection.
Objection! My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution
object to the
refuses to accept this decision.
Ow, that one hurt my throat.
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt.
Ow.
I'm sorry, Lord Van Zeeks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue.
And remember,
Oh, thank you, Captain.
hydrate or die.
I do have a bottle of water near me that I should use.
A little bottle of water.
Bottle of water.
A bottle of water
Bottle of
A
water.
little bottle of water.
has got right nutrients in it. It's a good sort. Put it
Why
right
is that
up.
supposed to have nutrients? Minerals, maybe.
It's probiotic water. I put the nutrients in when I drink it. It tastes like blueberry lemonade. It's quite delicious.
Oh, I see.
It's
A little bottle of nutrient.
nutrient water.
Nutrient
Yeah.
water.
Nutrient water. Drinking it right now, right up down the hatch. It's quite delicious and refreshing.
Right down the hatch, eh?
That hit the spot.
Ah, that was so much better. I can actually feel my throat returning to life. I feel like if I haven't drunk water in a long time, doing the prosecutor's voice can actually hurt. Usually if it starts hurting, it means I need to drink something. So that's a good tell.
Is it room temperature?
It is, actually.
Nice.
I know drinking cold water is not good for this sort of thing. By the way, Whackfrost, since it seems like this is your first time chatting, do you like the stream so far? We're all voice acting together.
Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very recently requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible.
What? Why?
The name the gentleman gave for himself, Eggard Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Just when I managed to prove the man was there that night. Could I say something?
The only reason I can tell it's Gina is because she has unique beeps in this case.
Who was that, please? Who spoke?
Oh, it was her. I am wrong. I am Puggies. I'm actually wrong.
Really surprised though.
It was me, my
It's
lord.
the beep of blonde women.
Juror number 5? What have you to say, madam?
If possible, Inspector,
Yeah. Me, ma'am.
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again, the one in which the gentleman is shown.
All right, yes. This one you mean? Of Mr. Benedict?
Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5. You don't mean to say? You know this man? Yes, I know him. What?
No. Good gracious. Order, order, order! Juror number 5, how on earth?
I'm a communications officer. Stop. As we can clearly see, the gentleman, the photograph is. Stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop.
Oh,
Ooh.
what?
He's the spy.
Oh.
Oh, this is getting big. He's the spy. Cause if we look at the paper, there's also like on the flip side, there's this article that says Ministry Mole classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice.
Oh.
The details about this is that there were using the telegram, there were like internal like communications with Great Britain's offices communicating to one another, and yet there were papers recovered from another country. Like they had like launched a covert operation to hit one of the bases, and in that base they found papers that had transcripts of the conversations that had been internal to Britain, like between internal Britain government offices with classified information. So
is he spy for Britain or against Britain?
against.
Okay.
So like, but the
Then this
level
probably
of
has, like,
information
some
and like
cipher
the
on it.
fact that they had the entire like conversation in transcript implies that whoever found this was like privy to all of the information and had like was present at the full conversation, because they wouldn't have like written it down otherwise. Like it's classified information unless you like, in dealing with classified information, unless you have a secure medium, you don't store that information.
Yeah.
So that said, the hypothesis is that there is a mole in the ministry who is like doing these conversations legitimately, but is also like double repeating them to another source. So he is the mole. He's a communications officer. He's the only person who is suspicious enough to also be in the position to execute that plan.
A fairly talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop.
This doesn't seem right somehow. Can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right.
I suppose we all imagine the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night.
That's the problem. His respectable job is how he's a criminal. Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman is at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zeeks, if you please. Yes, my lord. Make the necessary arrangements with all haste, as your lordship bids. The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson,
Yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
Oh wow, we're only in the afternoon, huh? I thought
Yep.
this was a lot later.
To be continued. We did it! Yay!
Yay!
We made it. Ah, this case is good. I like this
Yeah.
case.
How long is this game?
Very.
Very there. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for the lyric. There is, what do you call it? There are, technically this game is composed of 2 halves. There's the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is what we're playing now, and then there's Ace Attorney Adventure or something like that. I think it's Adventures. And I'm assuming that there are 5 cases in each half of the game.
Is Ryunosuke like an ancestor of
Yes.
Phoenix Wright?
Yes.
Gotcha.
This was confirmed even before the games came out, because like when they were like before it was before it even got translated, like when it first came out in Japan, they were saying that what they wanted to do was, since like a lot of the current characters and stuff like in the current timeline have had their stories and such resolved by the current games and things like that, that it would make sense for like it doesn't really make sense to continue their stories.
Yeah.
While we are in this page right now, do we want to go back to the title page, to the options, and view the video? Wasn't there like a video in the settings where we had the confrontation between Phoenix and Ryunosuke?
Sorry, and they were like, so how can we rectify this and make it so that, like, where can we explore such that there's a lot of, like, unrealized potential, where there's a lot of good storytelling to be had? So they needed to obviously make another set of characters. And they were like, well, we've done a lot of stuff in the present day, but what if we went back to the past and, like, examine the ancestors of these characters? We could do a lot with that sort of time thing, and that would also like give us a lot of reasons to like travel the world and things like that. So they originally were going to do it in Japan, and then they like, as they like started developing it and stuff and came up with the stories, they were like, we can do it in Great Britain, and then that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And it would be like such a drastic change, because a lot of the like a weird issue with the localization for the previous games is that like basically Ace Attorney is the trope maker for Japanifornia, where yes, the games very clearly take place in Japan, but the localization team bends over backwards to make it seem like it takes place in America.
Oh, gotcha.
For example, like Maya will go to a ramen, like your assistant in the previous games. Like this is in and of itself like one of the biggest memes of Ace Attorney. In the Japanese version, she loves ramen.
Right.
In the American version, she loves burgers.
Yeah.
But, like, they try hard enough to, like, put that spin on it that she will go to a ramen shop and be like, these are the best burgers!
Oh, no.
And it's just
no.
like, no! Why are you like this?
Don't eat burgers from a ramen shop.
Where it's like, there will be like literally as she's saying it, there's like a picture of like a ramen in the background or like untranslated Japanese that like that says like
Jolly donut
noodles, like noodle shop in the background. And she's like, oh, these are the best burgers. And it's just like, Maya, why? This is ramen.
What is wrong with you?
Or like they'll be in a scene where like they're going to like an ancient temple on a like basically like on a snowy mountain. There's an ancient religious temple, right? Nope, this is in California.
Peace.
Yes, sure, there are snowy mountains in California.
I mean, yeah. The grapevine. It's snowy in the winter.
That are called Hazakura Temple.
Well, I mean, I can't say there isn't one called that.
So yes, they were just like, well, we can actually, make it take place in like Japan because it's clearly here, and then it can go to Great Britain and we can actually have like new locations and kind of get away from the memes. So here we are.
Ari, wasn't there a video inside the settings where you can see the past interacts with the present?
Yes, that's true.
Let's watch it.
I'm done with the stream for today, so let's actually go do that real quick.
Yeah.
Options. Back to title. Don't save. I just saved. I'm aware. So there's special contents here where you can actually go. And I believe... Oh, I should check this. I want to see if there's any. So there's something about the sword. There's something with these two. Oh, I might have missed one. Like, you can't really, tell what they are until you actually earn them. Wait, how do I have some of these? I am so
I think the ones that are lit up are the ones you have, and the ones that are grayed out are the ones that it'll actually say that the unlock.
Like the ones that are lit up are ones that you know how to do?
No, the ones that you actually got. The ones that are grayed out
Like
are, they're telling you how to unlock it, but you didn't actually unlock it.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like, why do I know the way to get these? Like, this one is question mark, but it's clearly these two.
That one's a secret achievement.
Oh, I missed this one. Oh, apparently Iris has different ideas on her blackboard throughout each case, and I've just missed them. Oh, and I've been missing. I forgot to look around for step ladders and ladders. No, I'm bad. So this one is.
You get all the Steam Perfect achievements.
So this one is actually like a fun game thing that's been through the entire series. In every series, like in almost every case, at least in one case, in at least one case in every game, there is a step ladder somewhere, or a ladder, depending, and if you find it and examine it, your character and their assistant will argue about whether it's a stepladder or a ladder.
Oh no.
Wait, there's a tailor? Ooh.
Ah.
I can change outfits.
That's fancy.
That's fancy.
I like that.
Ooh, that's cute. But I like her kimono more. Yo!
Nice.
Yo.
Oh, outfits are only available for use in the
Sasuke?
Great Ace Attorney 2.
What was that?
They're only available in Ace Attorney 2. But anyway, these escapades. Is it the gallery or the escapades? I think it might be moving pictures. We can do Special Trial 2017. This one's funny. yeah.
これより逆転裁判15年を振り返る特別法
This is also
廷
one
を
of the
開
few that's
廷
voice
し
acted.
ます。弁護側、検察側とも準備はよろしいですかな。準備以前にどこですかここは。大審院大日本帝国の法廷です。いわゆる明治時代のいわゆる明治時代。
あ、それってもしかしてご先祖様とかいるのかも。
もっと驚こうよ迷いちゃん。どうやら時空がねじれたようです。あまり
But no matter.
how does he know?
検察側はいかがですかな。準備の方は。
なんというか僕弁護士なのですけど。
今日はいろいろな都合でそちらに立っていただきます。
何やら大人の都合のほのかな香りがいたしますね。
失礼ですけど検事さん、あなたはどなたですか。妙に親近感があるような。確かに僕も同じことを考えていました。なんというかとても他人とは思えないというか。
それではせっかくなのでお互い自己紹介を願いましょうか。
僕は弁護士のなるほどゆうのすけであります。
なるほど。お兄様では。何しろギザギザが多いですから。
生き別れの兄にはあいにく覚えがありません。聞いたことがあるぞ。僕の先祖に龍之介という名前の弁護士がいるって。
じゃあ あのおじいさんは
僕のご先祖様？
今さりげなくおじいさん呼ばわりでございましたね。
なんだか妙に老け込んだ気分です。
やっぱりそういうことだったんだ。お隣のあなたは私のご先祖様なんですね。おしとやかで凛としてて、まさに理想のご先祖様。子孫の綾里迷いです。
私は法務助手の御言葉すさとでございますが。
完全に赤の他人だったね。
なんだろう、この強烈ながっかり感。
なんだか申し訳ございません。
せっかくですからこの際綾里家の先祖になってください。
綾里すさと、確かに語呂は良いかと存じますが、
人類史上かつてない不条理なお願いをされましたね。すさとさん。
語呂はいいのにな。綾里すさと。
I know, right?
本日は逆転裁判15周年の1年間を振り返るものとします。
15周年ですか？
ええ、2001年初代逆転裁判が誕生。それを記念してこの1年いろいろやってきましたね。
そうそう、今年の1月にはでっかいイベントをやったり、15周年特別法廷、あれは楽しかったよね。
ああ、
Isn't
15
this
年
pretty
という
cool?
時の重さをみんなと噛み締めたんだね。
一言よろしいでしょうか。
なんですか？
時の重さをかみしめる記念であるのならば、まずなるほど様の生誕100年以上こそ祝うべきではございませんか。
100年以上？やめましょう、佐藤さん。すぎて床が抜けます。
いやはや
Exactly what Oreo
まさ
said.
に
What Meteor
人
said.
生の先輩。ありがたやありがたや。
拝まれてしまいましたね。
気軽に明治を振り回すのは控えた方が良さそうです。
Old.
それに去年は舞台をやったり、ついにテレビアニメにもなったりね。いやー、私たちも毎週お楽しみだったよね。
待った！テレビ？
アニメ？
一体何のことか。一から説明してもらおうじゃありませんか。
100年の壁は分厚いみたいだな、やっぱり。
あと今年はあれもありましたね。オーケストラコンサート、なんと9年ぶりだったそうです。
9年分の感動があったよね。私泣いちゃったもん。
待ったオーケストラ
コンサート？
ああ、交響楽団の演奏会ですか。それなら先祖でもわかりますね。
I was about to
ベー
say.
トーベン様、モーツァルト様、バッハ様。ああ、素敵でございます。
And now you see why I voiced her this way.
納得してくれたみたいだ。
この頃の何でも漢字で書いちまえって風潮、何だったんだろうね。
確
Or
か
at
に、
least the way that I do.
シェイクスピアがサオーだっけ。
じゃあなるほどくんは差し詰めなるおだね。
沖縄はやめようか。こっちも老け込んだ気分になるよ。
そしてつい先日8月3日のことでしたね。大日本帝国
Ariella.
国民待望の大逆転裁判2、ついに発売。
Yeah, and in America they got released as a package deal. Hi, Riella.
ありがとうござい
How
ます。
are you?
いやー、僕たちもしっかり遊ばせてもらいましたよ。
私だって感動しちゃったもん。
あ、
Hello.
何しろ。
I hope you had a wonderful day. Thank you very much for coming by.
あれ？
どうかしましたか？その一言がこの数年強烈な重圧だったもので、
ご先祖様の方にもいろいろあったのでございま
How was
す。
your day?
何しろ全ては
Better than
ご先
yesterday,
祖から
hopefully?
始まったわけです。いやはや、ありがたやありがたや。
意義あり。お言葉ですが、裁判長のただいまの発言は完全に矛盾しています。
なんですと？どういうことです
We
か？
want to hang out
実
to
は
do something that will
さっきか
help
らず
cheer
っ
you
と
up,
気に
wouldn't
な
it?
っていたんですけど、ご先祖様、ある種やけに滑らかに動いてますね。
Your movements are too smooth.
Are they really referencing
3D?
確かに。
Yes.
なるほどくん。机を叩くのにパカパカと絵が2コマしかないよ。
It's too frank.
ちなみに意義ありはどんな感じですか？
Oh.
意義あり。意義あり。さすがにそれは嘘でしょう。とにかくこのパカパカっぷり、僕としてはこっちこそが先祖であり元祖の気分です。
We already answered.
反論できない。
つまりお互いが先祖であり、そして元祖であると。
Also, there's a cat down here.
時空がねじれるのも無理はございません。
Waka hi.
Waka hi.
Necro-chan.
Waka hi.
それではそろそろ閉廷の時間です。
あの
I don't think you can see it on
それ
stream.
で
I can
僕たち
fix this for a second.
どうやって帰ればいいのですか？
See? Waka hi is hiding behind the Twitch
21
chat.
世紀に
明治の街をブラブラして時間を潰すというのはいかがでしょう。
大帝都東京は華やかですから、100年なんてあっという間ですよ。
どうやら何としてもあの一言を僕に言わせる流れみたいですね。
おお、先祖と元祖、夢の共演だね。
それでは逆転裁判のさらなる発展を祈って皆様もご一緒に。
Ready?
せー
And
の。
no. Objection!
Objection.
時代は回る。
Objection.
意義あり。
そういうことですね。
それではまたどこかでお会いいたしましょう。
意義あり。I like a little fun things like that. There are also a bunch of like cool, fun little trials in here that are like little. I don't know what this one is. Do you want to see this before we go for the night, or?
A great special trial.
The visuals in this video may differ from that in the actual game. Please be aware. この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
あなたの証言は決定的に矛盾している。そしてそう、むしろ致命的に矛盾しているのです。
何をなさっているのですか？なるほど様。
ああ、スサトさん。見ての通り、ちょっと張り切っている
And
の
this
です。
is why I voice act in the way I do.
張り切って？
来年発売予定の大逆転裁判で奇跡の出会いが待っているのですが、その人物と今日この大法廷で一足早く会えるらしいのです。日本男児としてやり手なところを見せておきたいじゃないですか。
おー、やる気でございますね。なるほど様。
でもなんだかちょっと怖いですね。夜の大法廷は。
I'll move this up just in case.
先ほど見物したロンドン島恐怖展もそ
There
れ
we go.
は恐ろしいございましたから。
佐藤さ
Oh
ん、
wait,
ロンドン中の
I'm gonna
催し物を調べ上げていますよね。
明日見て回る恐怖展の予定もかっちり組み上げてありましたもん。
別に恐怖限定でなくてもいいと思うけど。ところで、さっきから何か聞こえませんか？
そういえば この大法廷幽霊が出るという噂がございます。
やめてください。ロンドン島恐怖展の直後でやや敏感になっていますから。何者だ。
なるほど。どうやら全て見えたようだ。我が名推理がささやく真実。君の正体はズバリ殺害されたイタリア人のコック長だ。
え？
自分が死んだことにも気がつかず大法廷をさまよっているとはね。死んだなら死んだらしくその辺に転がっているがいい。死人め。
Please die when you are killed.
まさかあなたは世界的な名探偵。
He really went, please die when you are killed.
You're already dead.
It is customary to die when you are killed.
ご活躍いつも拝見しております。シャーロック・ホームズの冒険、船便でお取り寄せして。
処方さ。ほんの初歩的な推理だよ、ワトソン君。
本に書いてあった通りです。
ありえないことを消去すれば後に残るのは真実だけなのだよ。
それも本に書いてありました。
Why is he stabbed in the back? Where did the knife come from? I didn't see that he was bleeding.
と言いがかりは紙一重の運次第なのだよ。
それは本に書いてありませんでした。
どういうことですか。殺されたイタリア人のコック長って。
実にいい質問だ、コック長君。では始めるとしよう。
Oh, we get a great deduction with voice acting. That's not mine.
僕はね、つい先ほど電報で事件の通報を受けてここへ来たのだ。大法廷にてイタリア人コック殺害さる。
大法廷。
イタリア人。
そう、僕の完璧な読みに間違いなどありえないのさ。異国の技物、刃物といえばもうコック長に間違いない。キラッと光る五つ星は生前の腕前を物語っている。一見かなり東洋人っぽいが地球規模で見れば気にはならない。そして背中に突き刺さったナイフ、とっくに死んでいる証拠だ。故に君はどこから見てもイタリア人で死んでいてコック長だ。
This is great.
この大法廷には幽霊が出るという噂らしいよ。
I haven't seen this one. This is great.
And vaguely racist.
今の名推理、どこから見てもさっきの電報の後付けじゃないですか。
だって背中に深々と刺さっているそのナイフを見れば明らかだろ。
あ、これおもちゃです。
ロンドン島恐怖展の売店で大はしゃぎで買ってまいりました。
まさか。
まさかとは思うが今さら死んでないなんて言い出すつもりじゃないだろうね。
死んでません。
しかしイタリア人の死んだコック長でないとしたら君は一体何者なのだ。はい、
僕は弁護士のなるほど龍之介です。大日本帝国から司法を学ぶためこの大英帝国に留学してきました。
私は御言葉すさとと申します。なるほど様をお助けする法務助手でございます。
というのは世を忍ぶ仮の姿。その正体はイタリア人のコック長という可能性はみじんもないのかな。
ありません。ホームズ様、よろしければその電報見せていただけますか。
その真実ではありませんですわ。
これはこの電報明らかに矛盾している。
え？
よく見てください。大法廷ではなく大法廷です。
大法廷。
あ、そういえば裁判所の近くに大法廷というイタリア料理店があるそうです。陸軍に伝わる恐怖の大砲で焼いたピッツァが名物なのだとか。
なんだって
なんだって
そう、あなたは
間違っている。
電報の事件現場を完璧に読み間違えたのです。
読み間違えた。
大英帝国の電報なのに日本語のネタってどうなんだ
それでは今回はこの辺で、今度はゲームでお会いしましょう。
次回もそれは見事な名推理を披露させてもらおうかな。
僕だって大法廷に立って怪事件を見事料理してやります。
では国
Bro,
長
he really went for that
ホワイト
pun.
マッチを所望するよ
だから僕はイタリア人でもコック長でもありませんから。
Oh, these are great. I don't know what the 7 Days of Sin stuff is, but there's quite a few of them.
Looks like an entire mini case. Play it out.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed the extra little cases. They're interesting even though they weren't, the voice acting wasn't redone, but there is very rarely, that much. Okay. So with that, I think I'll go ahead and see if any of my friends are up. It looks like one of them is, so I can read her. She's playing Mobby. Oh, she doesn't let me raid right now.
Oh, good way to block raids.
You know what raid? What raid is she in?
The non-Twitch raid.
That explains nothing. Thank you.
Yes. Apparently she's not feeling well, and thus is not
You
allowing...
made her sick.
She caught my sickie.
Yeah, she took it away from you. How nice of her.
I will throw love at her. Okay. Well, with that said, I will go ahead and call this done for today. I hope you enjoyed all of the fun little voice acting and things like that. And look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you all ever so much, and I hope to see you again in another stream. Please remember to follow if you haven't, and otherwise, have a wonderful day. Hope you have a great weekend as well, even if I don't see you in anything else. So, take care for now, everyone. Farewell.
Bye.